Mamu akwa babiem edi Abadom TV so na Asempa 94.7 so na watchi dwumadie ene eguso de ma no panyin obeka mensasa brin eye Owura Atobonfo oye leading member at the Mass Citizens Coalition ye mana kwaba na yenkobodie ne ye hyase kaise ye ne economist mienu so ebekasa na yedi we mu nyina enkomo ye behwe ye domestic bonds no na international de no na omu nyina no ama yenimde ene adisua kakra ewo ho Owura Bonfo matse
ye nia
akwaba nso
madam be brave nyaba
ye da se ye to nsafre wo no wabeka ye ho na ja ye nyina ye to adwene na ye hye ye nkomo na se enti sesia no ye pese ye hunu eye debt restructuring ya aban yi ene ne photo sanfo e de beto dwa so mo de be ye dwuma no de di kan mo hunu ne sen
me da wase be brave nyaba yi debt restructuring ankasa wo hwa ebe ma ban ho ahenhan no because say baby aban gina no enye nti na ban ono ni the da ban ni so say obetimi postpone local debt it's about 137 billion nti so utimi epia payment no kwa kire say na wanya ho ahenhan na chese sika SBI ye de hwe free SHS obenya ena de SBI pension for sika ne ade na wetimi asan apesika o de be hwehwem because bosia na ya bone doso say ama forma ontimi fa bi hwem de ye ha ya ne say aban ede ba no one investors antenase eno ani ye coalition no de ha ye kese pa ne say nkeze before aban be odi we be ba no more musika invest or more top bonds or more treasury bills. I'm also treasury bills for the account. But at least every stakeholder, nanka wouldn't not nasi. Because once say, Yenina Adrian Coben Kroma, Ayana and Tiasiano Edin Kakra, into BBA Nan say, in case of your consultations Kakra, and so the abetuga.
Into a one animal challenge.
Your challenge
as a coalition.
Say, as a nipano. Omunya didie wo abainum nti so ni sika emfans obi a na next year ni de mature say I was next year 0%, and we are restructuring in fact say 15 years unse mu rem kakra say when need that bibi so no bi be ka tro say ade ya ese wodia ese nka me de ma na me mfa ma mfie dunu machi unse ka ese nipa no
say me de o kana ma celebrate kaka wo
celebrate na wo se ne mu
wadoto so
eno ni problema
eno na how been a bit de pepre mo sha effect mo benya ne e bi ye den
say wo sha banks bebre na bonds na omude omusika hye mo munya interest omude ye omadwuma nti say wo sha just financial sector na nkasa no e be kwa huhiam pa and individuals are you say almost say omonka ho no the same individuals ni almost cash mutual funds nti enu say e ba as a group
nti ho ne de account
e ho no account nti e ho no na ni nyina na ye pesa ban e sign din na ni ko ho no church me ye because nipa no em funds or the 100,000 no nko ande akoye about the 50,000 so aka no usika ho mesme de ho na aye kese a ye de akohye baby nti na no ye kan say wo say eno de ubi yiso na individual one no na eno de
ye wakwanya so sabeka mame kwa homa so John ni Donu Sampa ye deputy general secretary public service workers union ye ne ni nkobo na bia ye de ne fa no ye ban adwumayefo de ye keka ko ene se de enkomo yi eba no wo mo hunu sen na ebeka wo mo kwan bi so na Johnny ye mo ache no pai
Pacho me je super na me chia
ye da se ne obra wanya de amayen na ye hwe se makoya ban adwumayefo no brofo ye ka no debt restructuring ne debt testing ne ho nkro ba no kwan bi so no ebeka mo ana
Pacho me da se ebeka empa because adwumafo a wo ko bi when him say pension no ye the pension system no they are various fund managers. Some of the unions also one kasa active pension scheme are just tier 2 you manage na sɛ sika yi deɛ nti a yɛyɛ amended the old slate law ɛne sɛ yɛbɛ university atu no na sika no adɔɔso sɛdeɛ ɛbɛsɛ a lamsam a yɛ adwumafoɔ ewie adwuma mo kɔ retirement yɛde ma wɔn no ɔmbɛnya sika kɛseɛ na sika na yɛka no nyinaa titiri nyinaa ɛwɔ bond mu ɛna ɛwɔ especially public service for ɛna yɛfrɛ no sɛ time a ɛbaa ne sɛ government ɛwɔ sɛ ɔde saa teetu sika no ɛma no wɔamfa ama ɛma ne de yɛ adwuma ɛna ɔde treasury bill rate ɛto so na ɔde sika no ɛbɛma various farm managers no wɔamfa ama ɔmo na deɛ ɔmo ankasa pɛ na ɔmo fɛ nyɛ ɔde ma ɔmo almost I've forgotten the percentage but almost 80% ɔde ma ɔmo in bond nti ɛnyɛ sika ankasa na ɔde ma ɔmo nti no what it means is that you have been forced to buy bond whether you like it or not ɛna na bond no interest no ɛwɔ soro nsunti no obiara nim sɛ at least as we move forward we will be able to pay the retirees say a bond yi we see the entire 2023 0% any the years going 5%, 10% respectively. What really are you expecting workers to? So the other banner say, and they are not companies, mutual fund companies, almost they will not be able to pay enough interest on the money, and the ordinary worker will suffer. It is also the friend is saying individuals and kahua. Individuals no more musikana they are companies now. Omwaka bomu amasikana kesi or the other top bond. And who say right after this no. Various banks, any mutual fund managers will start also affecting the individuals that have investment with them. Now, and not workers, any trade unions, because government, only Ubia and Shada ending whom come up. And can say, Yenny say, and I say, Yenny say, only Ubia ending whom come up, and of that too. And I had to say, Dipano, or what to me, what can say, the obeying. The over and opa koshipo. That is very bad.
Mate. Na mame ko ahomaso gina so mame John. Na many doctor Said Idrisu or no so economist. It's obo de eba no de ye kan yi a entiase no pote no omo no mbebo na yenya. Dr. Idrisu ya mwache no payi. Dr. Menka. If I try on mute, mommy, why? On mute, what's a man can?
Yeah, me too. Okay, good morning.
Yeah, watching that so no bra when ya am I na yeah share what can brofona kese. Yes, debt restructuring and a debt exchange. Muna Yebeka say you feel that she muma ye ne breaking it down. Say me mammy I want no so ti joma woti ya no pay no or better dear abano patch ye a deneka.
Yo, thank you so much. Pachomish Chino in papa, so okay. I'll just mix along with.
But yeah, far from my kakra.
Exactly. With a very far so that on Betima. Well, the whole program about debt restructuring is like, let me just put it in simple terms. Let's say, Adom for the Eric about chance Bonobusia, let's say 1,000 Ghana cedis. Now, only Eric more agreement say, okay, member Busia January 2022, member 1,000. Then in that case, by December, no, we'll be to with some interest. After Eric Ajeso, waji 1,000 January. Ode Otion we can say by December, no, usika baba plus any other interest. Eric Bebeto. After Otion ma ekodu tama Eric is until Osikano with the interest, no. He comes back and tell you, say, oh, uni baby Osikano mint now so we perceive me extend, you know, so that at least we remember time to be able to pay. You know, so with something like that, Eric is not factoring, say, also, yes, he cannot at that moment. He's not factoring into account. And also, if you say, time now, you sign a legal document, which is binding. So, say, changes, you know, unless what is the legal grounds in that regard? So, signs agreements now, have an initial stage, you know. So the whole thing is just simply clarified or simply defined in that regard. So, what you the individual, why share, why you may also say, okay, who do no be cocked, and I yes, sir.
Yeah.
So that is a situation that I am anticipating or I am foreseeing that we may have in the country. People they will be angry because the government is not being fair to them in this regard. And the way the government is like government is, I don't want to say government is using force, but it's like you are owing them. So you should be using dialogue, not coercion.
Okay.
Because if you are using force on the people, knowing very well that they are going to lose their money, is not going to be good at the end of the day for the economy as well. Because we share economic, there will be say opportunity cost. It's like time now, pensioners, banks and all that, they were investing in the government securities.
Okay.
SARS economy, they could have used it for something else at that particular point. But they trusted the government because of the safe deposit situation. Because Ubian himself, government is always safe. Maybe SARS economy maybe piece of land somewhere, an estate somewhere, you are not guaranteed. But you know the government is always safe. That is why most of these banks buy these bonds, treasury bills, and all that with the government. So after government but say, oh, there are so many question marks, and the government is not really being fair to all the investors.
Okay.
The government is not being fair, considering that at least years ago, SASICANO, people could have used it for different investment, and it would have yielded a different return altogether at this particular point in time. Minimum time now, but I wanted to show some few slides so that we'll be able to see. I mean, if you permit me.
Okay. No, but Koso.
Okay, maybe to me who like say the no corner. Okay, but I think you have to enable me. It's like the host is disabled. Screen sharing. Yeah, so we'll enable. I will share the screen, then just show some few slides for people to really get the true picture.
Mate. Enti Dr. Said Idrisu ena ene Edin Kobono economist. Enti mamemra Mr. Bonfo nchen. Wotie de wokan ya na chese bebia na wo baba consultation ene dialogue no. Aban no amfa sa kwan no so. Na se ose makase e wose mu de adwuma. And ebra sankomo ne koso ni mu na no. Ye hu senkrata be beto abonte attorney general kwampo advice the finance minister say once there's Doko can say agreement ni ye binding e wo aban no ene investor no entem. It is a wo take a so decision say na meye e wo bra wanyi wo no adwen kira e kwa bi so na tia mra obi kura betumi I take care of the matter dia court and okaso for see say e betumi asi also say na mo hunu no
at the end there say when you be call up when you be kwa pam na say when ni so a on say na I say breach of contract obetumi do akọ emre nim na ese ye nyina so ye twen adwen be gina bibi so saban ye de oye so a ye sika no be hye no credit da ho pa ni say
okay
aban uni choice bia so ye de oye no nti na ye di efu say de aban bebia wako gina no enka achiri so obefre nipa ne o makasa
enye late
enye too late
because what take decision we that
o de abeto e na me pa kire say saban anye sa de a usika no ni nyina abehye and economics ye will be say eye say obenya kakra since ni nyina abeko nti say mfan say 100% no or amount 60% po eye since usika would go to ho nyina abe nti na say esa man obom modern say nimanim ya of frɛ nipa ne omo kasa na bi mo pene so
Mr. Tomesamba ho ma me ko Dr. Idrisu ho say o na ho bua na wie doc ya ba on che pa cho yeti ho
yeah me you say what me whole screen or are you able to view everything
me pa cho wan ye hunu
okay so it's like I want us to just revisit what triggered this debt situation like at the end of the assembly in our buy Usha Pro is like inflation is going high. Nema boy cost anyhow. Interest rates are also getting higher. CD also losing a value. The beer dollar is like it's just going up. So all of these are factors within the macro aspect, playing a role to where Ghana is finding itself now. Now, so credit rating agencies, like Moody's, they have downgraded us. So it's like, first, government of Ghana could just go easily and borrow from the capital market. But it says the cost within the economy, it's like investors are moving to different places like US and other stuff, where their bonds are safe. And to Ghana and near investors to be able to package. So that is what is triggering us to do that debt restructuring, so that we'll be able to bring back the confidence. It's not really a bad thing, but the approach could be bad. You understand? Because we share your debt now. As of September, we are about 37.4 billion, almost close to 100% GDP to debt ratio. But government percent on from form to 55% by 2028, because government is government is hoping that we'll be a 3 billion IMF loan. So it's like if you're able to restructure your debts, then the IMF will come in. Hopefully by next year, on 1 billion, then they will spread the remaining one. But our share situation now is so bad. Honestly, so bad. Our share like the debt situation that we are currently in, and we are the second worst in the world, next to Sri Lanka. So it's like, or even the finance minister or Noankasa or admit here, 70 to 100% of government revenue. So it's like to our government, 70 to 100% ends up paying interest payment. So it just said Ghana is really in the debt crisis. And something needs to be done. And out of the debt, external debt 58%, domestic debt 42%. So see our government, the oil concentration is on the 42%, which is the domestic debt, which is marked in green. We domestic now, then they want to look at the external debt as well. But for now, they are looking at the domestic debt. And domestic debt, it comprises so many aspects: social security and national, pension funds. They are all part of that. When you say Ghana, the law is that as pension and all that, at least 70% or so should be invested in government securities, because government securities are safe. That is why all that investment is being done. So the finance minister of offer 10.5 billion of the domestic debt and reissue it as new loans with different maturity dates. So in the first example, I remember I said, for like Eric or Bushia or Honma, or if Eric comes to borrow from you are in that regard, it's the same way the finance minister is doing. So it's like all the matured bonds that were supposed to be between 2023 to 2029, they have reissued it again. So let's say maybe 20 years ago or 10 years ago, if you had invested hoping that by 2023, Ubeji will seek plus any other interest, government is now telling you that your money is going to be still be kept by me, but in 2023, so you are not getting any interest. That is 0% interest. 5% in 2024, 10% above. So it's like government artistic also the interest that the government was supposed to pay. Now, what you need to understand is that a lot of these banks, they invest in the government securities to get the interest payment and run their banks and also pay their workers. So right now, what government is doing, we should expect, is going to trigger some additional consequences, because liquidity issues will come in. Banks will be even workers again. But again, the government comes in and tells us that, they are going to provide financial stability. This is just a statement, because over the years, we have seen what has been happening. Even with a consolidated bank that was set up with depositors getting their money, up to now, the collapsed banks, some depositors have not gotten their money. So SARS stabilization fund in that regard. And this is even the complicated or the interesting part. Government is saying that, don't worry, nothing will happen. Treasury bills, blah, 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 there will be no haircuts on bond, and individual holders of bond will not be affected. But you and I, Yentimin Koto bonds, we do that through the investment agencies like data bank. What do you see called data bank? Then through data bank with other customers, they will use that to transact in government securities. So that sentence 3 number, the government need to come out and explain what they mean by that because it is not feasible. Majority of those banks are being done. So the consequences, the consequences say there will be judgment debt because people will take legal actions at the end of the day. Because see the government here, the government is not doing it in consultation with the people involved. After all the force echo then definitely people will take it. That is why even the Attorney General, Godfrey Dami himself, came out and warned the government, said, illegal. But the government is still going on. And again, the second caution, say, one sure is going to trigger bank run. Bank run, say, people will start panicking. Obiabeko bank, toko yinisika. So say the mechanic because of what government is doing. So the government really needs to take its time and relook all these things. And let's do broader consultation, broader education to let the citizens and to let the public understand what it's doing. Because it's like government just calls a few people from the pension funds and banks and catch them and say, oh, this is what I'm going to do. Take it or leave it. I mean, says democracy, unless involve broader consultation so that you'll be able to mitigate some of these effects. With the first point that I gave, a lot of these banks, almost from depositors, they don't even loan it out to the public anymore. They buy government securities, hoping that the interest will come so that they'll be able to use it to run the bank. They'll be able to have some liquidity situation. Obi Basa will be 50,000 Ghana cedi, 100,000 Ghana cedi. Immediately the bank will have it. But right now, what government is doing, it can even collapse some of these banks. They could run out of businesses. So it's not about, oh, you either take it or you leave it. You should look at the consequences that could come with whatever actions that you are taking.
Okay.
In that regard.
Doc, my answer now can be about dialoguing. Say, and Cabino need these investors no, ebe kasana and tiasia yejuma. Tibia or minisi kasemejina. And said ye a cano econo. Na mujidi said brewa honoma, finance minister, no bit my dialogue no. And son what take these measures are or dear gua council, na brewa hosa.
Oh, yes, definitely. It's just a matter of at least using some form of persuasion in a way to actually get everybody on board. Because it's like pension funds now. That is what they will take plus the interest and pay pensioner. Will be away you call retirement. After pension funds no more new musica with the interest na everybody. Then have to make 2 year pensioner no by Genesica. So it's like there is a multiple of consequences.
Okay.
But the finance minister is not actually looking at that. Well, but after all your buyer is like you are telling Okache say will be untighten your belt. But who are buying who won't tighten your belt? Yours is so loose. So you also have to tighten your belt in that regard. Unless the government should start doing some expenditure cuts. It's very, very important. Not just giving haircut to people, investors. On one occasion, who presidential staffers are 995 presidential staffers at the office of the president. Unless that is outrageous. Maybe up to 100 or even 250 is reasonable. So you are able to save whatever salaries that will have been paid, whatever allowances that will have been paid. You'll be able to save some of these things. Presidential jet rentals. The government, the president can even send foreign minister or even, different ministers to represent him in some of these international systems. He himself doesn't need to keep going all the time, renting presidential jet, costing us. So these are the places that the president could cut back. It's just a few months ago, Omukotua S. Gracia, Emma Council of State, when him say, Sikani Abayanomo, after Mutua S. Gracia. So all this, the government will have to cut back. Ministers, pay DM, department, pay DM, unnecessary meeting. So what just saying, now it's about peer auditor general report. Auditor general report over the years, believe me, you will cry.
Okay.
Waste of resources over 5.2 billion in 2018 alone. That's the way in Kaiwanuma and Kebetima YBB. 2021, 1.8 billion. A Wanuma, Betima YBB. Tax irregularities, Bebrewonuma Muntiata, Nina, Wanuma, Betima YBB. So there are so many areas the government can focus on. So, Obetima done in the attention alcohol. Oh, this is the situation. Me just say, unless Mami Yenusu say, it shouldn't be about, oh, and yeah, we are in the Bibian Yobio. So, no, are going to be die hard situation.
Now,
You understand?
yeah, Doc, we share a ban so the fiscal deficit measures or the go so said okay so on cutting cost now. What just say a full allocation and accommodema political appointees no. O much so much you 50% per enebeko. It cut no 50%. And watching so no ban no more dia to VAT say bia nipa no won kan ha na wonam di traffic mu e di VAT de nam no. And also no omo ye fra gise bia wo kọ outside Accra and obetumi you see eba no allocation so omode to vehicles omode to cars so a and also no omate so ene de ekeka de call adodo na de ba ne say na expectation ne say ba no ebet the number of ministers no so be say 80 no nka want so kra ma ne mra from comparing to other countries our population krampo no esoso na so modo so poche Ghana no omo wo ministers kitua bi na emma ne da first of for mine no when you even with the 2023 budget or the buy, there's an increase. I almost say by 227.8 billion. And normally bedi juma a fear besim compared to a fee year, na year best 145.4 billion. No, and my young commitment a while by say cuts no almost so no a yomo for Mudiana.
Yes, but they could still do more cutting. The Omo Yanina on bit my more. International no share. Office of the President alone, almost 1,000 workers. On Betima to so all the way to 100. Ufa work about what our salary or just salary or just allowance or VAT share or the expenditure at the government. So Nina we can cut them. How big is the office of the president that we need 1,000 people? That is outrageous. So it's So it's like government, they are saying that they have done some, but at least they could do more. Because we share like a year debt structuring. No. Government, who say as the only solution, but that is not the only solution. So who say that it's not the only solution because you could do all these stuff and probably will not even touch investors or domestic investors in that regard. If we remember our example be international best practices. Usha Jamaica in 2010 they had a debt restructuring. IMF na year more in early 2010. It helped them in the case at least it brought down their interest burden to about 3% of the GDP, and also a more increasing domestic debt years now. So the years increase from decrease to be able to get it paid, which were all good in 2010. But along the line in 2013, what happened? They went back again to the IMF for another second debt exchange program. So Chira will say it is not just about the debt exchange program, but you, the government, Ankasa, the Obeyi Ankasa, which in economy will refer to as the physical discipline of you, the government yourself. It counts. So Ghana, the finance minister could bulldoze his way, get the debt restructuring done. But believe me, if we are not able to fight corruption, which I have just shown you with the Auditor General report, if you are not able to cut back on expenditure, believe me, in the next 3 or 4 years, Ghana will go back again for another second debt restructuring. So say Jamaica is a typical example for Ghana to learn from.
And see, Doc,
2010, after 2030, normal go back for another second one. But let's say first one they weren't able to commit to fiscal discipline.
Na Doc, yenhwede ye kekan ene brofudia kese omudia mai. That no to say the future no yɛbɛka sɛ bonds a ebi obi pɛ sɛ ɔde ne ho bɛhyɛ mu no state bɛ na ɛbɛwɔ mu.
So in future, people will get discouraged to invest in government bonds. That is all we are seeing right now.
Okay.
Because like there's an old adage say government bonds are the safest. But right now, what this government is doing, or should I say government bonds in Ghana are not the safest. So me will seek 100,000 to go buy government bonds. Me the bekwa koto asase. You get my point. So people will shift away from buying government bonds. Even these bonds, they will start moving away from buying government bonds into different diversity. And government bonds, there isn't a majority equal government bonds, because of the 2007-2008 recession that happened. So it exposed a lot of weaknesses within the investment world, with the mortgage crashing and all that. So government bonds, government securities in general became the safest haven for many banks and for many investors. But right now, what Ghana government is doing, it is going to start discouraging people from investing in government bonds. People will go and withdraw their money and keep it under their bed, or people will withdraw their monies and go buy some piece of lands or some piece of plot somewhere or some houses somewhere. So new forms of investment might start emerging, and it will not look good on the government of Ghana.
Na my sheba bi ba ko aba mu a bebre na na ho na ebi mu interest wo yes net ho ene pension fund na ni nyina no ebeye affected no ebi ka se wo no ka anye hwekra no aban no en consider na ka onyi snake en free the restructuring nim na ma ebi mu so enye safe kakra wo take wo safa ho ne eden do.
I agree totally, because all pension funds will be affected currently. All pension funds that are invested will be affected under this government policy. Even insurance companies, say when you say insurance companies will normal, like maybe who accidental life insurance and all forms of life insurance. They also invest in all this, so that when you accident and BBC, you'll be able to get money and come and pay you. So all these businesses will be affected. So it's like government is just looking at the debt restructuring to be able to cut back on government debt. But at the end of the day, there are dire hard consequences that will come afterwards if government doesn't really take its time in looking at this. Until the pensioners, almost even I think so many agencies, including even the minority in parliament, almost so I'm only hoping that government will go back to the drawing board, look into other measures. Even if Opesa on your debt restructuring, at least they should look at Jamaica, see what happened to them, and use it as an example. Because we don't want a situation whereby government will forcefully do this debt restructuring, then in 3 years, 4 years down the line, we are going back. We really have to look at physical discipline. It's like Ghana, sometimes we describe Ghana to say leaking bucket. So him leaking bucket and our basket. Who sends you go basket more? No matter what.
Yeah.
Because no matter what money comes into the country, go and look at the Auditor General reports. So much irregularities. And BBI and normal. It's like nobody gets punished, nothing happens. So it's like day in, day out, it keeps increasing. So believe me, even government could give 100 billion, 100 trillion, not the Bagana, believe me, half of it will call corruption. It will not go into the real development. And that is the challenge of Ghana. So it's American.
Yeah.
So I say by on angle now. If we're able to tackle it, we'll be able to save so much to the point that we may not even have to borrow money again.
In these times, no, we have a trying moment. And then I'll be catch investors and workers associations say what Ghana say or more and finance ministry nearby no. At least yen support social budget or not say yen kabum. Into waste of an hour of an eye in a yes of night your pages or amana ye. A foot to do all my what my investors any Ghanaians are or more and come. I was sad that restructuring, you know.
Yes, they should just be patient. Let me put it that way. They should just be patient because at the end of the day, it's the country we are all looking for a better country, a better Ghana. But government will also have to play a role because, like, the posture of the finance minister, the posture of the government itself is like, that's why I already said from the beginning. Oh, catch him say, me tighten my belt. Now, we won't tighten your belt. It's like, it's not being fair. So government must really demonstrate the physical commitment. Not Ghana for who say, okay, I buy also or cut back on so many things. Believe me, Ghanaians will understand. But after who catch say, unisika, yeah, that's sorry, I'm not president or France in the luxury jet rental or Spain in the luxury jet rental. Ministers are going to Qatar up and down. Then, I mean, people will not understand you. So government themselves, they have to really cut back on that luxurious spending and cut back on all these unnecessary ministries. Ministries will be merged, into one ministry.
Okay.
Even some of the agencies, you have ministers who are there, and we have ministers even at the office of the president. So there's a duplication of roles all over the place. Look into that and cut them. Unless I know, say, we need power. Probably you want to do job for the boys, at least for some time. But the government has been in power for 6 years, getting to 7 years. So it is time that they really take Ghana at heart instead of job for boys, Okay. At least by now, no president is on Castle. 990 no is on Pomo on 100. So at least 6 years is enough. Then we'll get back on track. Or yes, say no, we are investors who are affected, they will understand him. Say, oh, okay, president is really taking serious measures. But you see, you tell me that, oh, I will lose. But at the end of the day, you will go and rent private jet. Private jet. At the end of the day, you will be traveling here and there. Your presidential staffers will be this, your minister will be this. So people will not begin to understand.
Okay. Now, Doc, lastly, na miniwe no. Abano de atudwa ese omo edibese 50 billion cedis. E na atu nchen se bia ochina bi bank bi konya pane kwadra de ekoso no na ihu abonkrofo no makoyi omsika. Omo de sika ne be support these banks. Sa approach we aban no efa no. Un say the best.
Sika no we nie hu sika no. Did you see that money the government is saying? That is what I said. It's like a policy proposal the government is bringing out.
Okay.
But we should begin in a time now, more collapse banks. Initially, Omokachi said they are going to do consolidated bank. Obia Nisika She, Ombetu. Even up to now, people haven't gotten their monies. So say they make no.
Yeah.
So government probably may just be talking to calm nerves down, but at the end of the day, we'll be back to square one.
But at least you would Zoom said your more cano.
At least Omoja Sadia, that would be very good.
Okay.
Omoja Sadia, that would be very good because I even mentioned it, they are putting a $1.2 billion or so to be able to make a financial stability fund for these banks. But as to whether it will really be practical, because it's like, excuse me to say, I don't want to use these terms here, but it's like government process. They say, so
yeah.
That is the situation that the government is finding itself now. So probably and I say it could be another one of those lies.
Mate, Doc, my nurse, any brother, when you're no paying.
Thank you.
You. Dr. Said Idrisu, economist, and Nina Kudin Kobono. Mijini was you and the Kakra. Your mother come in be. What you say, Mr. Ato? Doc, okay, John, me bacho on mute na yen we na me gidi se wati enkomo yi bia.
Hello.
Aha. Me bacho to me ka John.
Bacho me too.
Aha. Eti na me bisa se kakra ye die nkomo a yedi ne kakra yi wo bibi be adwenche bi wo ho na wo de wo se betwa to so aka ho amaye
yeah me do e betwa to no se so wo hwe se de to panel to economic aspect what was a choir by a namswa all implemented this restructuring the choir I said which to me Ganka on the America Kana on your kind. Trade unions, any workers in Ghana, will be I do croi, will be a better set and Kobe be a macroi, be a basso. But you see, Nipanankasa all implemented these measures. Almost everybody, including even the majority, don't trust the person who is doing it. Okay. So at the end of it, who trust the announce it? Now, a banisa na croi could do baby I do. Now, say a banisa croi so I could do baby. Then I buy all your pa. I just say you're watching your groom. A banny say you're watching your groom happy. Yeah, I buy by answer or better to taxes me. And no answer or better say freeze on public sector employment. Now and then so would the debt restructuring so about account. Now the government even the finance minister that people think that the measures that he's implementing is not yielding the needed results. And that there is a need even to change him, even for confidence, investor confidence. Nobody is thinking about that. Certain policies that you are doing, including the construction of cathedral and other things, we are saying that it is good to have a building for God. But of course, you need to survive before you do that. Now, all these things, you say you will not do anything about it. So, Emma Obia workers, no, we are not very happy. Monday, TUC is doing press conference.
Okay.
On some of these things, including the negotiations that are going on. And obviously, what you will see is that if workers realize that they cannot help it, when you say you are going to court, you are going to spend a lot of time also in court, there will be massive demonstration, industrial actions here and there, which will not help anybody. So I think, say, or buying person or ye bibia. I was on in Crofona at the end of the count. I was on your motrasi. I was on your motrasi, so on one case, I was on your bibi. And one kasa nehu na obia be hu say ade awaye no the ono kasa wa title them. Okay, that one is not done. It be free say e was in term year no government every meeting na on these stakeholders consultative meeting na say ba ni say niam no bi ode aba no ye betumi ahwe na ya so kakra na ye be ma aboa yen kakra na aboa government to kakra. At least we are reasonable enough to reason together with government.
Mate John, mamena senior bra wanya diamai.
All right, thank you.
John ni Donu Sampa and outside Kano, or your Deputy General Secretary, Public Service Workers Union. Na mamemra studio ha na menira atobon for e monko bokakra. Die mpanyifu nyina Kano. Who be become one ha?
The other dog can observe the here part say a man for being a GD or a bino. Okay. Na Nyoma kakra me my dream yeah from the coalition the if you say ban betimi aya GD won mu be kosro be to say second term no president reduce ministers no from 100 and be by 85 yenya yanka no at 20 or they are by 85 utimi so ba 60 a good signal to workers say me ministers say unzo mu na bebre MPs nti enko yes ye omadi or come back to parliament. That's what would happen. And number two, be to say finance minister. Yes, see, the agent say on one kasa finance minister. No, see on Jim say a core IMF. Na ye core IMF. Into a core IMF co-heading. Into no son, we ni free wa. And no see another measure a increase workers ni pa isika. Yadi abeshe bonds. Your confidence ni be cost.
Now we are sure so because I said ya cost we nyina ya what we dey. Any say I was obi ato na adwumu ana.
Yentimi ntu ya adwumu sa because I buy per se or tray say ye sika no onyentu ya o my 15 years. Ni yeso yesre ni say to get us to accept that condition no. Say yeso ye hu say wo so wankasa no utimi ye bibia esom wobo. Ye nim say finance minister ye post ketwa. Into what me pejani sin chain now do be for besi wa in just a gu economies bebre wo party no nti ye gidi pa say some of these signals are mine to me, yeah. No, or she in crying say, Muslim money and nanti. Because I didn't no credit that was then an America. A year global. Osha, you can me dinner. Why can say cost strikes? Because the moment dollar increase in interest rates, no. Ya no ma ye did ideas and yesika CD and baby and no na emiobia because one say foreign investors say eba the dollar neighbor. Na say American dollar no interest rates no cost through US. Why they be keeping it there Africa? Abrawu sika no intimi ngina. Nti no na e create sa run say ye twi sika e de ko baby a ye nim say ade dollar no mo ano mutwa. E ho no so ye stable. Nti e was a buying otimi near nante not treacherem but posture no was say no e ko ba de say okoso de oye na obi antimi nji ni say ye external issues and e cause because clearly no one person who sisan bibia. I mean the other thing not okay ka say office of government machineries are 900 and
over 900 staffers no
practically government don't mean to soon 100. We have to be practical in our expectations.
From 900, who say at least
reducing by 20%, because a lot of them now are buying offices that are and so more presidency. Who say do parks and gardens or that or be ministry or that inti afufro no dia beka ho sa ono an crop we be a government spokesperson no na o use 20% ni free so e be drew by 650 per on say workers na wo ne dada ne de omuguo na wo de kakra o de abeka ho we yi omagina nche for
na ama unemployment rate no asan hwi kosoro
so mu de wa na ane omunam eye party for general workers nti na me party so obi o ye adwuma dada ne office or ma seconding into presidency no so ntimi yi nim free ono o ne office dada nti ho ne yetua nika e free nti I sometimes no erroneous so one year careful na ubo total figure na e man grofofu say 900 nipa bi na ayaban ba ban mo de bae enye sa nete e bi ya adwuma wo ba bi dada e na ya second om
mate Mr. Bon for mama sankwa homasomra yewura kwaku antwibosi akon oye economist na ye ne no behwe enkomo a ye die ni nyina no obitifia ne yem hyehye no se na ne si benya misika na se me ye investment na fe be ko bi achi no ye be che me kwan ya me misika na me de abeto honom no me fa so na wo se menya no no ne je se ne ye me na krompo enye future no etisen e de ma oman yi ye sika sam toto ye ene sa investment ankofo eye e wo security na mo dwinso bo benya wa ban mu no future no ye bleak and say ye bright ye ranch bo si akomache
mejo so mami
ye da se ne wo bre enti be question ne say ye future no e ba no investment economy no ene ye sika sem no ye bleak and say ye bright
no kre wo mu ne say mami ankra no abai ne say bia Yemvasa me no ka say bia makoto treasury bill anase menkwa makoto aban bond de omo kanu bia ene omo yi media no esinchen enya dia nhihye aban ahihye sisi no ebe fa me ho enti eno de enka ebia enka me nanso no so she ni nyina di bomu a sempo se me treasury bill a me toye no se aban se nhihye enkame a so he se de cd no aba fom na ebi emra me koto treasury bill no na cd no bia na ye 5 cds o de toto dollar ho a se no akodru bia 12 13 enti no sempo se sia se ni nyamisika ni nyina akra na sika na ho ode no swate enti no de me de koto mu no enye noa na me nsa beka
okay
na emmo musa wo hwe enema eko se sia abansi se omune International Monetary Fund IMF ayen hyehyeye na etimi boama
ɔman sika nhyehyɛeɛ no ɛtumi gyina pintin no sɛ nhyehyɛeɛ a wɔde abɛ antumi ankɔmu na sɛ amanfoɔ angye antom te sɛ deɛ nipa no a ɔne ne wɔ studio no ɛka no wɔn angye antom a na sɛ IMF sɛ okay sɛ montumi ntoto mo ka ho nhyehyɛeɛ a ɛneɛ yɛn nso yɛntumi mmɔ mo bosea bio a ɛneɛ maame obiara ho bɛkyerɛ no nokorɛ wɔ mu no ɛneɛ daakye anidasoɔ biara ni hɔ nom nokorɛ deɛ ɛyɛ baako pɛ fi sɛ sɛsia no ayɛ sɛ obiara ɛretwɛn sɛ aban ne IMF nhyehyɛeɛ no ɛbɛkɔ sɛdeɛ aban aka kyerɛ yɛn sɛ ɛbɛkɔ no pɛpɛɛpɛ sɛ ba ne saa adeɛ a ɛnim sɛ IMF bɛma Ghana sika kakra a sɛ ɛbɛtumi aboa ma yɛ sidi no ɛtumi agyina na sɛ yɛtɔ nneɛma wɔ amanɔne a yɛbɛtumi atua ho ka sɛ ne nyinaa kɔ yi a ɛneɛ ebi a nkurɔfoɔ a wɔbɔ aban bosea no wɔn bɛnya awerɛhyɛmu wɔ yɛ economy no mu nti no ɛbɛma biribiara gyina na nneɛma tumi akɔ yie kakra ba sɛ aban ne wɔn a wɔde wɔn ka wɔ Ghana nhyehyɛeɛ wei ɛntumi ankɔmu obi ase yɛngye ntom bi a ɛneɛ no korɛ ne sɛ nneɛma ɛyɛ in fact ɛwɔ sɛ nipa ɛyɛm hyehyeɛ kakra nneɛma ntumi ankɔ sɛdeɛ aban ne Ghanafoɔ wɔde wɔn ka no nhyehyɛeɛ no ɛkɔ no deɛ meyɛm hyehye me kakra
na wohwɛ a na IMF ka staff level agreement bi a ɛwɔ sɛ ɔman yi ɛne wɔn ɛkɔkɔduru na deɛ yɛteɛ no ɛne sɛ by 13th of this month yi no aban no ɛne ɛyɛ Ghana ne IMF bɛ register staff level agreement no ɛma hope bi sɛneɛ ɛnkyɛ yɛbɛtumi aduru hɔ sɛ the first tranche no krampo no yɛnsa bɛka
no kora ne sɛ maame ɛno gyina sɛ nkurɔfoɔ a aban wei de wɔn ka no wɔn bɛte n'aseɛ na nhyehyɛeɛ a aban de to dwa na wɔtwitwa mu no wɔn agye ato mu efi sɛ IMF wɔn nhyehyɛeɛ no nyinaa ne sɛ wode nkurɔfoɔ ka bebree a wontumi ntua a ɛwɔ wɔn ne wɔn nyɛ nhyehyɛeɛ ɛno nti no ɛwɔ sɛ wo ankasa wo ne wɔn a wode wɔn ka no motena ase na moyɛ nhyehyɛeɛ sɛ sei na wobɛtua wɔkyina sei na afeɛ bɛn wobɛtua na ne nyinaa bɛtumi ama wo ka wodeɛ no ayɛ sɛdeɛ bɛyɛ a wobɛtumi atuatua nti sɛ ɔmo de ɔmo nso sika na ɛba abɛhyɛ wɔn nsam mu nti sɛ wontumi ntua deɛ wobɔɔeɛ a yɛsɛ ɛnwa ɛkɔ adidie mmaeɛ a yɛnka bi wɔ mu nti sɛ ɛka a wode dada no wontumi nyɛ nhyehyɛeɛ sɛ wobɛtumi atua a ɛnyɛ adeɛ a ɔmo nso de bi bɛba bɛka ho bio ɛno nti na ɛho hia sɛ aban ne wɔn a wɔde wɔn ka ɛwɔ Ghana ha ɛne amanɔne mpo nyɛ Ghanafoɔ ɛka nko a wɔn sɛ ayi aban ɛyɛ nhyehyɛeɛ no wɔn ka sɛ ayi foreign bonds ɛka a wɔde wɔ amanɔne nso so no wɔn bɛka ho nsɛm na wɔtwe anaasɛ mbrɛ bi a ɛba ɛnkyɛ bi a wɔn deɛ no nso bɛto dwa nti na wɔn yɛ saa nhyehyɛeɛ no nyinaa na aban IMF hu sɛ ampa aban ne nkurɔfoɔ a wɔde wɔn ka nyinaa no wɔn agye ato mu sɛ sei ɛna aban bɛtua wɔn ka ɛno nti no yɛhwɛ sɛdeɛ aban nhyehyɛeɛ na sɛ yɛde yɛn nso yɛdeɛ bɛka ho a aban bɛtumi atua saa ka no nyinaa ɛwɔ mmerɛ a ɛwɔ sɛ wɔn tua nti sieɛ a yɛn mpo Ghana deɛ no yɛntumi anyi ntomu wɔn de wɔn ka anyi ntomu sɛ wɔn bɛtua no ɛbɛyɛ den paa sɛ IMF bɛgye ato mu sɛ o muntumi ntua mo ka nso still a yɛne mo bɛyɛ staff level agreement no nti no sɛsi a me no ka sɛ deɛ menim ne sɛ nokorɛ ni saa staff level agreement no ɛyɛ adeɛ a ɛnyɛ yɛntumi mfa yɛakoma nhyɛmu ɛkɔpem sɛ aban ne wɔn de wɔn ka wɔ Ghana ha no saa ɛhyehyɛ a wɔn de to dwa no wɔn bɛtumi agye ato mu na afei amanɔnefoɔ nso deɛ no nso no wɔn bɛtumi agye ato mu ansa na IMF no agye atum say okay afei de nim say mo betime atua mo kanti no ye be sign agreement no at the staff level na sana akọ board ama executive board no so agye atum sempo say staff level no mpo mo gitum wo ha omo meeting omo ne Ghana mpanimfo no ahia omo gitum say okay ye mo aka no cry agye atum say mo betime atua mo ka ewe say executive board no so hwe omo hwehwe bibia mu no mu sa ampa no krani Ghana aban omo ewon hwehwe se omo betime atu omo kanyina se IMF di omo sika so ekopie so a enti no krani eni se ye dada ye ho se dia amanfo kika na sa ba kika se omo be staff level agreement by afia wiye no ebeba so no ewe se ye twen kakra ni ye hu the woman ansa na yetimi edi yakomato so
na se ye ken no ebi mu esusu economics ba kwa amdi ka ne kasa ye no o se anya ne nwanwa se bia ye koye nim na ebi bu krampo no ebetwe abana ko gina court esan se anamo na woto no de abese obokon o bra na omo agreement a ye binding eba no investment a omo ye nti se ni nyina no krampo no etumi aba mu se ebi mu ante ase because you say Ghana Medical Association and Ghana National Association of Teachers omo nyina say aban na mo na wotu ene ne debt restructure no wo mo ni aban no enya adwen e betimi akọ affect ye ni IMF ekita odie na manatwe akọ akire se de wotire mu no ta ne kosi
no kre ne se oni obi ayen hwehwe a mo san ase se maju sika me bo besia free ho no besia na me bo no ehun si NCA na fe unkwa wo sori anopa ba ko a wo se o besia na ma bo no kra mintua ena ehun NCA no so kra mintua enti no so peu metia no ebia 5 years enfie numachi anase enfie du numachi emre bia ni wiase ebema ho kwan Ghana ha mra ma ho kwan enti se enipa na wo de won ka no e ka kire wo se mentiase na menje ntumu a ewe se utimi ne no tenase woni ne di nkomo ema wotiase se wa anye ni sa se de wo ka no betimi e de wako emredi ni mu ase so wo de wo kwa no kreni judge bia be bia ma wo mu enti se ko bane sa IMF no so de ekopim se omo betiase se omo ade omo kanon ni wa ya enhihye omo san akase yeti wase se odi ye kanso me ntua no enne tua no wachina ehun sie no tua no 2023 2024 ekwa IMF no omo en ya agreement en kaso omo su dum zikebe ka ho enti no enu ti na make se ye dia akoma to so se o se dia bai ka so omo bitimi an hihye by afia wiye no a bia ebedi hu ehwamo fi se no kwene se if any part do na omo de omo kan ka so omo be kokota neche se enhihye ya omo hihye no aban hihye se yetua we say ibetua we wachina ne adechie no entimi maso se no so amaso dia neche se aban eka ho enhihye ya wahihye no enya dia ebetimi abaso entino mamen kansi su bio se IMF no se omo no be agreement se CA se de kan omo ne Ghana be agreement a gisse aban aye ye ka ho hyehyeye a kire se ye betimi atua ye ka efri 2023 eko se ye ntimi an kire IMF ye betimi atua ye ka IMF omo ne ye nye agreement ena se enipa na ye de omo ka no so antiase no omo de kokota unim Ghana court no so asem ebetimi edi bese mfie bemie sakra na asem no da so wo court ko akudu even Supreme Court entino ade a se de nkrofo pi ne aban kasa no omo nto omo boase nanka omo ne omo de omo ka ne ntinase ene omundi nkomomo ntiase ebisa de na nkasa mo de tuja mo se voluntary chese ufri wa opemu ena obedi atumu anasa wunji ntumu enti wuntimi mfa ade a voluntary en sano mane meye se nhye a chese enipa no opewo mpewo onji ntumu and said the Ghana Medical Association, the insurance for pension for Obia Matthew Omunkabia say Omunji abayan shisheni into. Enti DNA trese abayan shisheno a bit near the ama IMF one so omaji atumu. What is the mention? And you know, it's a idea, idea. Minya Rishemu say, okay, 31st December bedruno. Na aban ni IMF omo aye nhihye a IMF waji atumu ti se e ka ye de no omo aye de omo ka no sesia no obia se onjintu nhihye aban aye no omo njintu.
Okay, na lastly na me no we Irabo Siakon US aban no e che so mo be support Ghana e wo IMF requested yakọ no hye ba bia nkita odie ni keka kọ na a che se esaka board approval na se US aban so support Ghana kwan bi so no maye beka se yetumi jump the head kakra na se maye nya ni da so se kwan bi aso no ye fama wi ana
se America bika se ombe jina ye chia
yeah
ni nyina a kire se IMF no ka se okay ye Ghana aban nhihye ya yeni yeji omu eka ho nsem atumu enti no ye pese ye ma omu program na yitimi boa omu a ekese America ban ebeta IMF chi ena Ghana aban so akase nhihye bi ho a omu be ye sebe ya yemfa nse bank any insurance ni pension adwumakuo no se bia enam sanchi se we no ntino se omu sikasem etofomo a aban se omu tisika bi se omu betimi di aboa omu na animu ya no sika bi a omu hia no omu nsaka omu se about 15 billion cedis about 1.2 billion dollars and also in say bia World Bank any amanaman to say bia US almost almost sika ebe she enum
okay
eno ye kwan a America aban betimi dia boa Ghana then so no ansa na eno ni nyina be baso no ehun be hia se aban ni Ghana for companies ni adwumaku a omo di omo ka no ebe tina baako
okay
oma no beko baako abenkrumu na oma ka se e ka wodi ye no ya diatumu se twentwen so kakra enkosi emra wahyehyɛ no se no na koso na se oma anji antumu a IMF en sign agreement ena saa sika na aban so obetini ade ni nyina no entimi enkoso entimi di kan a ehia eni se aban eni omo odi omo ka no betina si agye atumu se ena ban so betimi etua moka se otimi yesa na se the friend say debt sustainability analysis no IMF woni gitumu a eni ni nyina be ko wano ena support American banks for the bepwane World Bank ni adini nyina for SARS kana omo betie no ni nyina betimi akoso enti aban to no boase
okay
ni se tintia e we 31st December yenya staff level agreement no e betimi aba 31st January and 28th February na mum di hia ne se e kana aban de no watimi ne omo odi omo kana ye nhyehyɛ ama obia tiase na obia say okay obetua ye sɛdeɛ wahyehyɛ no ɛno ɛne hia sesei pa nti aban to ne boase na ɔne omo nkasa yi abotoyɛ mu eba bibia bɛkɔ so wano
mate You're right, you both see a corner pay. Adom TV asempa FM ya da sene obre.
Yes, me that one.
Ora kwakwanche both see a con. Economist ye na kodi nkobo nti. Ono so break here dan kakra wi de IMF kakra san say aban no wani sodi hu so ni sabe kan be $3 billion bi e de afi hwa be wram na economy na agene na so na dollars so abakrum eno ho ehyehyeye ba bi aduru ene ye no kowie ma memra studio owura atobanfo ye leading member Citizens Coalition ye no ento ye nkobo no so ba bia ye duru ye na ye hye presidential staffers no ene ne dodo na so 600 ye okay.
It me bedru be 650
650 okay yeah
because as say ne the number 990 bb internet say be roughly be 300 be na free because we the what drink ko say na dog kan earlier say yente so mbra 100 and
possible
because what tiso aba 100 na say yemfanse Ministry of Finance nipa be do ayede omko o say yenyi omadi. That's what he means because omom wo aban mu dada government na a secondary omako Jubilee House and say we free finance
ministry
into all those guys na the internet me say realistically yen hwe say sankrofo ni nyina betna
okay
na the government spokesperson on security there no IGP share security nti party ni a betna ho kan security sem no ono ye betni ayi na sinchen na the free Ministry of Interior ebia ono under immigration nti no abet na ho we ono everywhere because ono ye technical person nti sa political ayifo no na ye betimi ehwan omo ho kakra
okay mate nti ye hwese se no as a coalition no moko ye de odi kan boss no edin biem na mo hwese de mo kan no sempanyifo so anya ntuma ensusanso be ne betimi nya ewo modwumadie so
yankasa ne de ade ye je nkita di bebre nti ye ne se wo kaya ye ne auditor general ko di nkita ho nti ye hu se ne ana ye yadwen ye no na enye sa na tie tese sika nkofo afa omo nsase no wagigibi nti ye be to aso ni aban akasa because ye gidi pass on so mu ye nipa te say ya aya na sometimes no the way yenti ho ase because on far bibia nkyre ene yeso yemfa bibia nkyre no nti ye gina bonte ne ye kasa but ye ne kodam no otimi biebie ne oma so kyre ya ebia de ono ka no ye beti ase ena yeso say ye biebie ye de no so kyre na ebia ono so beti ase nti ye de we'll continue the dialogue because over the years no it to go up on things so ade na ebe mai because say baby a minor duro no ye mistake ketwa bi a set year back more than 20 years nti baby e wo say no e so bia ye ne hu say den na ye betimi ya abo aman no o hwe since 92 politicians are yenya bebre omo ba bam because opeso Land Cruiser opeso otodan airport hills emra so say obia o pese oba bam no e mining ti na oba bibi ti say aban we ni free SHS eye pa nanso we are there na o hye ye ktin say obema ye maduane teacher for ni books no ne hia nti fa wa hoden ko te no achi no me bia me free chira wo yi mi abachimota o say e free o ma me tea na brodo nka ho a me ma me chira noti obey de no aba nti bi obisa no se mo chira senior secondary school na ko free opon wo kofie obi oti achimota village no ananti akọ achimota school nti wanya bibia amana okofia ni ma me banchi ni kontomre obedi nyoma sa na yepese abanfa nani nko ho sa flagship programs no the practical
the call for a review free senior high no was so ebraso
because they say baby amani gina no ye nisika ye besoa ya bomode pa momo wo hwe numbers na it's in the millions ye de omako free SHS but the that no credit that say usika na aduane boarding say aduane bo ayedin pa na wa hwa betimi afidi 500,000 ye omo bay I bi so ho dada nti boarding system ne de ye ya dream no esa binding ani ko ho ye ntimi ye ni free wa feel so person oba ko achimota na ate ayi kumase nye na oba no
abetua ho
na wa man bibia obedi
no na ne free ye na ye de wen ya
teacher for no ayi huma ode ye de be kire na de na library na computer eno no aban betimi atua because aduane no wo hwe boarding house na nya aduane po electricity na say mu na school bi dormitory no light ne ko na nkrofo for parents. Well, these are practical things aban nim. And so I said we yi nani nti emra so say nioma aboa wonim say untimi ye no memfa nto ho so yenye de a ye betimi na ye ma nipa nya didie we mu to say wotete wo ministers deputy ministers bebre o mo kwan wo hwa minister ne pe no wo power ho deputy si tete ho na amom eno ano mo ye so asmanso ministry for no mo ye adwa ho no wo small mo so wonan drivers wo ho mo small chief director minister ntimi nko kan speech chief director the man ono so tibrofo obekan nti den na gise NPP ni ana gise NDC ni emre so say yankasa no asoman ye 30 million ye nyoma e wa ha no ese sunye nyina nti nipa kakra bi mo mfa ne tesenia omo pe na ye hwe omo e mo omo di omo ayi na ya aka no ye beja omo ewo ekroma
mate ti miguso wa ha ye nkọ ye na mame mo nkomo we wonim se nyame Adom abosumi ya ne de to so dunwotwe na Adom TV 9 lessons and carols no ye de brewo se yes December mu de na wonim se afena son nti ye bronya no na ye keka kom no ebi mutufu sin ka be ya bronya no mususu ni de ndi obe se wo bedi owu ne wa botom na Adom TV 9 lessons and carols night we no ye de kuma wood stars papa bi ene ba begina stage nti no on be performing ye anikanika na ye nyina yasua de ya sere na yakoye nim na afi no yese ticket na beto no nya fe na kochi kwa adabi fa phone no sisi na me kire wade fa phone na yenko but star 713 star 003 hash unya ni ye sambo star 713 star 003 hash next Sunday okwa na wo send we na wamia option 1 na wabo modern to ticket 30 Ghana 20 Ghana ba ko na 10 Ghana ba ko na wabekan ye ho ne oba multimedia ha ya Adom brands no stars ni nyina obehu am stage mo ba bekan no brofo omo kan no twi na actors yi omo yisini ye wo Don Little eba Matilda Sare Otele yesi chinchina twan sanso na Michael Frane Christiana Wuni Papa Kumase Rasnene omo se ne din ba ko bi kra no kra fe ne simple ha omo nyina so ba so ho na omo ba ba ye aba acte asesini bisa no na ye de agege ani ti mesrew ebekoso ewo National Theatre enyu hu film hie ye nyina na ye nkogege ye ni kakra eno ehun komo enamde ema na wotwe dwumade na guso hye etie Adom TV na Asempa 94.7 ma mentwa me ho me ba de aka wokire no ye de beto aso ama na wotwe dwumade anopai so wakan ho so Asempa 94.7 a medase pa na babiedu naka enche na ye de bibia eba na wieye ye beba ho na wo so afra kire wadwen enne nkomo a ye de esikasem ho ntoto ye babia ne omekeka komagidi so nya adage tie yi a wate ase yi babia ni kire mpanyifo chese ne omanye kranti se no babiedu no giso bia moa ne ho ete ya ban na chi na ye de mpabo so ta kire ehwese sakra ye beba opanyi o wo menchen e wo ha Citizens Coalition a leading member yera atobonfo okame ho e wo ha na mekwa ne ho ansa na maba abebie phone lines no na afi nso wo de wadwenche ba na adwumadi na si na Mr. To yen hwe anisuode hu ne ye den na mo envisage se mo behunu ebra ye koye nimi
say no budget already on the nyoma bi ayo omobobo so to say e-levy or the ba 1% say ye ne ya adwen say
threshold no ye figu
na ye threshold ne baba kenu na ye stress say it drew appropriations you were committee level na minority for man to me say the threshold never because I say ye ko ye nim no I said the friend social contract on near sign ya to said 4 more for nana no say no 2 more for nana na aka no ye person ni ye apam bi say ohia for no be hwe omo because the AC say no ohia for no na bebre nti ye say bibi to say VAT 2.5 or the be kan hu say onri hu biem ye nya nko yin free ho
yin ya na saba ni hia sika nto yin free ho na ban be na generate revenue
aban ni hia sika but mini aba hwe ni say omo mutua tax dada na no be sen tua o because sa VAT no ebi mo ho a enka no nti ono we increase na the same number of people now mutua na ebre rather aban no making sure say informal sector no or twin bam yeah Ghana card and according to vice president no a BA numbers no ekosoro na mo ye den amomo so atue bi nti e ho no na ye ya dwene se omfa na ni nhwe ho bibi to say planting for food and jobs ye ye good policy but plantations saying na wom ye increase farm sizes no by supporting omo ye no ni acreage omo ye ni ya kese ti say because obi ye body a na to say free in cry ko ye bia so farm no ne size no because ye hia aduane hu say o man bia say yetimi didi yetimi nya ye nsa koya no a ne o ma bebre no nipa nha wo na 1D1 FM ye say factories ni bi o ho enye adwuma simply because sika promotion e bia wo man o say 3 million na o man 1.5 wasi 9 ni si ho wa start kakra mun so masin no mun ye mo because yetimi increase local production na sa dollar na ye de kono eso beti ebi ni esam on say esam bo okosro kasa di Europa no the santum ye brodo for some time now on ye adwuma esa omo secretariat 1D1F no mo find adentina obi sa on ye adwuma me sure say mienu miensa bi su be wo ho a omo so adwuma na ye ayi kakra san nyoma ni na ye som ni ye pia kosro a ebema e car ye de no ye hu be hen han because omo you see local nyoma e de ye nnuane ma ye di nti nyoma ye kra no ne bo be ba fom so okay aban ka say emo ne nyoma ye betiso ye nkra bebre
anwamo ne sanema ni nyina
ye tiso no de ne ye ma farmers no mo do rice no a ye be pion mo a ebe mo magina ye no matimi afidi ye poultry the same feed no na ubi so mo de complaining wo hwe yi abakwasem Brazil for abakwasem mo hwe ye no mo suen se mo betimi de banche aye base no mo de nam naka ho nti enye abronko a na yetimi nti yeso ye wo food research ni ade wo mpani for wo omunim de ye mo so nhwehwem na ne omasa no emmeka ho na mama ni ndimu
mate mame mra wo nchen ba bia wo bia wo betimi a join enkobo na yedi no numbers no 0302 211701 0302 211702 and 0302 211703 uwie so abetumi de 704 asechire so ho na wafre me pato o share screen so a number na da so bomodi afre na kire wadwen be be ye ni kire se asoman no utusu se bibi ho no ma ye nyina betumi ayede ata ba na chi da na se wo de hu ne saban no wa se ye ntio bia Ghana fo aka wa ntie na de na ba bedru ho nto no anko ne ko no no so konko na ebe ye yi ana mamete wonka na fo adwenche no ebra 0302 211701 edikosi 704 friend mame kokuma say papa yemwachen
ya na obi ahụ ye
nyame adom obi ahụ ye yeti
ya de radiasi nam eye kene Ofori Atta ensemu ya ye kan eso mo hwe na mo de nyoma tutu ye ma Ghana for because economy ni se na emu aye no ene nyoma esi kona amanfo ye hu ye ho ano na ye sabe ka se ye betiti ye abama ahokyere na ata ye den aba mo ti we ye kire omo hwe na mo fa nyoma tutu ye se na be ya nyoma betuma jadi amai ai madamase
yes ye that say Mame kwa kwa de nchira ho na Steven was Steven ka ma chi.
Hello.
Steven me mo achi.
Yeah, your sister.
Yetie o.
But so, sir, Ghana for nyane to abama. E man penny na hado na nado. No no answer fa appointing as a minister now. The minister appointed the MP said Ghana for Ghana one champana. I think say ayi wa ho ni mo de bon so ani. Na se no to for that dey be segem. Obo na kan tell say bibi wo no mo ntia sra no. O ma nya se no ma ntie. No tiam ka say. Minu say and emobo e de sin koko one bag.
Okay.
So, say engwe emobo, enko anwa bo. Ma kwati koko manya ba be one bag. But kwa koto mo a mintimi nto wo say anwa. Ehwe buro ni e bedi. Yen ko la kwenti nto ta na fa mo mo. Nti e sa ba nto mo wo de ampa mo o do nya de be onya pressure for our imagine.
Martin Steven. Medase Brakofi Martin.
Yeah, and I pray that I think a terrible can operate debt exchange program. No,
yes,
fear and panic to the citizens of Ghana, especially, it's the kind that treasure the things I'm born from him. Then the next year, things to some coaches can say, a course of fear, my for company, your music can say, I know so on share now by education as I record down. Amaya Aswat and a wound ever call. Was a cause of fear and panic, easy.
Obiajo so Brakofi that's meet me for free for BABM. Mr. To 1 minute, dear now can the chat on your sorry.
There be to say yes, parliamentarians ne drew appropriations ne soa omumwaye na ayi dia na can threshold for e-levy force na ban say ye pone ye fu se nkobema na kosoro nti o mane nkosoro o mane nka 100 na ena 2.5 VAT no so pese o de be ka ho mane ko 15%. Na the total ne ko 21%. Ebe mia ye nti yesre ye nhwe ho na ye rather no ye twi nipa bebre mbra tax net no.
Mate me da say asare ba for.
Yes madam.
We dey ka bibie yen so yeso waba be patcho mi ti ofre efi hin.
Efi station.
Yeti o.
Patcho I the margin chen say abano she dia omodigu kwa mo to bia na ha dwen kakra. Fa say root to na adawa futu kakra kre. Eno na ebo ma ba no timi ne sika kakra na yeso eletu efutu no. One day my mama say omo yefi ho. Eno no aban yefi ho no ama eno a contributing factor aban sika so nya de bomb man ho bra na so what be. And the size of the government came out buying by more than 100 ministers, their deputies, cast of using your money, it does be, and also M1 more man, if you can send in Pumpo. In the abandoned if you can see me, yes, if you know the about, and I'm saying to my four, it will be there, the best my four so. And my four no, a person and man woman so in a holding and find Juma M1.2 Medibano, a man so and so.
Okay.
It's Miss Magin.
Me da say. Yeah, it's ye do see understand. Happy birthday. Enkoma Delphina nana esi budusam. Ene Delphina anya 5 years. It's odo onyame won hira wo. Na onye okese we fi papa ekọ budusam. O maame ene onuanom ni nyina nchen. Na ukwabri ena ayiyo bi ekoso. Yan ye colleague ne no ewo multimedia ha. Eye Samuel Boatin o engineering. Ni papa kababi. Nti ene na omoye eyi ni papa no. Aye na yi anu ni sika senye na ewa abri eti same obade no chechire wate ye ma onye busua ni nyina ya akọ sanso na kokofodua so a nsemtwefo anya yi kese ewo Achim Newtafo en kwaku Solomon ano ye managing editor ede madrid ede multimedia kwaka ba bi ne na yi no ekoso eti sabre Achim Newtafo hwa ye butu ye wi aye kota chire na ye nso ya hwese dia ebekọ abusua ene nsemtwefo nyina wapo mantemu mamu nyina yakọ ene hyeden kese medu besi anopai na opanyi obeka me ho yewura ato bonfo Citizens Coalition woye a leading member ya oda ekuna no obeka me ho ye ne economists ahodo nso di nkomo yewura ntwebo si akwede ne kasa ye na Dr. Saidi so ye no ebo nkomo sanso na Johnny ono ye Public Service Workers Union no ye ne ono so edi nkomo dwumadie so na penyefo a ebo chidom Webek Kofi Ampadu Akwasisia and a Frank Wolanyo sound camera floor omunyina etachire ema dwumade ne ba wakom edi amejeso ene abena pokoa ahwennie yada wase ama mu ni hye enitie nyame yadoma ene na wotwe eyeda kese NDC amanyoko no ene Accra Sports Stadium eno mode abato ehyehyɛ so yakra mu nyina